item again. The towels make the best sounds. Would be amazing. And also that I'm not very good at doing buttons. Well, hello. One of the first ASMR videos that I ever watched was a video of Maria gentle whispering, and she was folding towels. She's done a few towel folding videos over time, but this was her very first one. I don't know how long ago it was, but it was a really long time, maybe 14 years, something like that. Anyway, that's what I'm going to be doing in this video. I have some clothes to fold and some towels as well, and we can kind of chit chat a little bit. So first of all, I want to address the absolute carnage of my thumbnail, and I'm not going to show it to you too up close, but my thumbnail on my left hand has been broken for 2.5 months now. I'm going to fold this into thirds and fold it like that. I have my dog in the room with me, so if you hear any strange sounds, I promise you it's him. Two and a half months ago, my big long thumbnail broke right at the bottom, and I wasn't emotionally ready to cut it at the time, so I put a patch on it and some glue, which I did really sloppily actually, but somehow it stuck pretty well. It looked awful, but it did stick it very well. So since then, I've just been being careful with it. However, yesterday, the glue, the patch, it all came unstuck. And I said to myself, I'll try and save it one more time, and then I will just cut it down. So I set myself down with all my tools to take off the remaining glue and to stick another patch on. But when the time came, I couldn't remove enough of the glue for the nail to stick back to itself. So it's not broken all the way across. I would never try and save a nail if it was broken all the way across. It is hanging on by a bit on this side. But there was so much old glue there that I couldn't stick it back together. So I put glue there and I was trying to hold it together and put the patch on, and it wasn't laying flat. And it just wasn't looking very good at all. So I decided I was going to give up and I would just cut it. At which point I picked up some cotton wool that I was using, thinking it was the cotton that was doused in acetone, and I was going to wipe off the wet glue before it dried. But what I actually did was pick up a dry piece of cotton wool and I pressed it on, hoping it would wipe the glue off, which of course it didn't, because it was just cotton, so it stuck to it. And as I'm trying to pick the cotton off, I realise, hang on, this has actually bonded it together pretty well. And it might be more effort than it's worth to try and remove it. So I then just put a little bit of glue over the cotton and I've left it. The trouble now is that I'm left with this white. It's not see-through, it's white like the cotton was. So I'm not sure how long I will keep this for. This came out very neatly, look. That's just super satisfying to me. Look at that being folded so neatly. The next thing I want to fold is this t-shirt, which I've worn for videos. Maybe not for videos, I've worn it for pictures quite a few times. This was a gift from my sister. When I was about 14 years old, she went on a trip with our dad to California. And they travelled up the coast, and my sister bought this for me as a gift, and it's still just as relevant today. But that does of course make it quite old, so it does still fit me fine, but it's a little kind of warped, the shape of it, and it doesn't look like I've ironed it, but I have ironed it. I'm one of the very few millennials who actually iron things. So if I was folding a t-shirt, I would lay it as flat as I could, like with whichever way it warps itself. I think this has just been in my wardrobe unworn for a little while, and that's why it's looking so creased. Other than the thumbnail, I think my nails are looking pretty good. This nail here has a little crack in it, but it hasn't caused me too much problem yet. We may not be able to get all the wording on the front. Let's just see, maybe more like that. England is experiencing what I would describe as its fake spring at the moment. It's the start of March and there's no way that spring is arriving yet. Outside it's blue and sunny. It's not warm. I want to get outside to make a video, but I'm not quite sure what I want to film. one of my son's school shirts. Folding shirts like this, I find, is best done if you do the buttons up because it holds the shape together the best. However, it won't surprise you to know that I'm not very good at doing buttons. So I won't be making this a 45-minute video of me attempting to do up buttons. To lay that as if it were done up. Now I need to attempt to flip it over. I think that went pretty well. I did my best to remove the black nail varnish that I had on for the previous videos. I had it on for, I think, the day I did the filming and then the next day as well. But as always, I was left with a fair bit of staining, and so if I show you the pinky, for example, I don't know if that will focus. All down one side, it's quite stained with black, and you can't just rub it with acetone. That's not how it works. It's like it's got into a part of the nail that you can't quite get to, and just over time it will fade away, and I can use acetone on it again in a few days and it might get rid of a bit more. But I don't know if that's just my nails or everyone with longer nails has this problem. It's almost as if there are hidden facets in the nail where the nail varnish creeps. I find folding clothes or items, soft fabrics, really satisfying, even though I don't do it a lot in my everyday life. When I'm in shops where their clothes are folded somewhere like Primark that has all the clothes just folded in piles and you look for your size, and people will sort of open out a folded item to see what it is and then just chuck it back on the top. I always like going around and folding up the item again. Apparently I've got nothing better to be doing. I'm going to do this in thirds, I think. I think that's come out pretty well. There is absolutely no chance of me being able to do up that top button. Top buttons are the hardest thing, I find. So we're just going to have to deal with a bit of a crinkle there. But otherwise, I think that's pretty good. M&S school uniform. I wanted to do a black item just because I thought the showcases the nails pretty well. This is my Deftones t-shirt from the early 2000s new metal genre. And I don't actually remember when I got this t-shirt. And we have a little bit of dust on it that I can't really do anything about. I'm pretty sure this is actually just fibres from my carpet, because my dog does not molt. Well, he does molt, but he just molts in the same way a human would molt. Every so often we'll lose a few hairs. But he's not a dog that leaves dog hairs around, or if he jumps up at you, you don't get white hairs left all over you. Again, this t-shirt's a little warped, so I can't do anything about the clothing industry's habit of using cheap cotton. Sadly, that is out of my hands. I think I'll do thirds again for this one. Oh, picking up everything. Can't get the whole emblem on the front, so we have F-tone. I still know what it is. This folded pile is looking so satisfying. I should put that one at the top. I love that. One more towel to finish. because I think the towels make the best sounds. What do you think? Or the carpet? And birds again. With the weather getting nice, I'm thinking about places I want to travel to this year. I haven't been to a new country in a really long time. In fact, I'm trying to remember. Probably the last country that I went to that was in a country I hadn't visited before was Australia, and that was in 2019. Since then, I've only been to countries that I've already been to. So I have a few places I'd like to go. I think I said on an Instagram story, I really want to go to Iceland because I'm really interested in geology and natural geographical things. So seeing the glaciers would be amazing, and also the Northern Lights I would love to see as well. I'm not sure I would be able to hop myself over to Iceland, but there's a few places in Europe. Europe's so easy to travel around. I could go to London and get a train to pretty much anywhere in Europe. Once you get the Eurostar to Paris, you can get a train pretty much anywhere. And I quite enjoy a train. I find I get lots of interesting writing done when I'm sat on a train. You can fly as well, of course. It's not expensive to fly around Europe, but whether I will get anywhere, I don't know. This one's not as neat, is it? I think it's because the towel is not perfectly square. There, that's better. Let's pile them up. Look how neat that is. I love it. So thanks for staying while I chat about nothing, and I'll see you in the next video.